the infamous audio that goes around yearly.
Yeah.
Coach Knight going off. Were you in there?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I was in there. Yeah, I think it was after the Wisconsin game, and he started, spouting off about, getting on Greg, and then then he talks about, Damon coming in and all this other stuff. So, yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. So, but at the same time, we knew that we didn't finish the season the way we wanted to finish my freshman year. Like I said, we struggled. So we really put our time and effort into getting better over the summertime, and it paid off.
And obviously I've seen a lot of those. So, I mean, it wasn't new to me. I heard that, seen it, but it was just, I looked at Coach Knight as a guy that was just ultra competitive, and that, I think there's only a few people at the top of that list when you talk about the super Muhammad Ali's and the Michael Jordans and the Coach Knight is right up there from his profession. So that's how I looked at it. I never looked at it like he was, some people, they talk be verbally abusive or mentally, draining and all this other stuff. I was like, it was like a dude that really wants to win. So now, do I agree with everything Coach Knight has done in his life? Absolutely. I don't even agree with everything I've done in my life. So, but at the same time, when it comes to basketball, I always looked at it as, oh, this dude just want to win. He want perfection on the basketball court. Never going to get perfection, but he's always going to keep you striving for that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. He's, I totally, what you just said, you hit it on the head. I mean, he's just one of those guys that wants to win, and he wants us to feel the same way he does in reference to going out there and competing and playing the Indiana way and win and try to win doing it. And, I always tell people, I said, it's not so much that everybody talks about, he make you run a lot, he makes you do all this crazy. I said, no, not really. It's all about the mental part. He wants you to be mentally tough. And so when you go into the game, it's just he wants you to be mentally prepared for every scenario that comes with that game, so we can have the best opportunity to win. And that's what it's all about. And that's what he's all about. Yeah, did I agree with some of the stuff that he does on the court? No, not really. Yeah. Do I agree with some of the stuff he did off the court? No. Right. But at the same time, when we were in between those lines, it was all about family. And try to do everything we can to be successful. And like I said, play that Indiana way. And we knew if we played the Indiana way, we had a good opportunity to win games. So that's all. I think that's all he wanted from us, and that's all. And that's all we wanted from each other.
What was your relationship like with Coach Knight?
It was good. Like I said, now with the kids, and this is fine. I mean, obviously, you can't stop progress.
Absolutely.
Progress makes waste for no one. The kids nowadays, they want a good relationship, which is fine. That's great. I have no problem with that. Open door policy, with us. And I think Coach, by design, didn't want, too much. He didn't want to get too much, too relationshipy, if that's a word.
Right, for sure.
And that was fine with me. As long as when we got on the court, we were all, family and we have one goal, and that's to be successful on the basketball floor. When it came off the court, Coach wanted us to have our lives.
Right.
A lot of these kids now, I mean, you got to stay in the dorm. Coach is like, yeah, you got to stay in the dorm your freshman year, but after that, you go live wherever you want to live.
Exactly.
Just make sure you don't embarrass me or the program.
Yep.
And you go out there, you be college students, you enjoy your life. Enjoy your college life. Just make sure when you come in here, into Assembly Hall and you step in between these lines, that you're ready to practice, work hard, and do the things you need to do in order to help us, help this program be successful. And that's all. And he said that numerous times. So I always respected that.
That's something that we talk about the relationship part, because looking back, I'm older now. When I was in it, I was just in it and I was locked into it. But our years, was some of the down years, people would say. And I think the number one thing looking back was that we lost 3 McDonald's All-Americans in 3 years when I was there. So we lost Neil Reed. He was a great basketball player, great mind. We had lost Luke Recker and Jason Collier.
Yep.
The one thing that those three had in common was I think they were all relationship based, and they couldn't get past the I'm going to get on you. And I tell people all the time, I think that's what Tom Izzo is great at. I'm good friends with Mateen Cleaves, and I always ask him, well, what's the difference? And he would say, hey, man, he'll get on you. in some instances, he's worse than Coach Knight verbally. In some instances. But the difference is he wouldn't let you leave the gym without reestablishing that relationship.
Yes.
And the difference was back in the day, he'd get on Calvert and stay on Calvert for 7 days. And it was like, man, this dude, but you were mentally tough enough to understand that this is all a challenge of making me the best. And we had those guys leave, and we just couldn't sustain that high level of play because we just didn't have the horses. You know, everybody, you know, even with Coach Knight's brilliance, we still had win games. We still was competitive. But,
well, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, AJ, I mean, you know, players win games.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, players win games. You got to have the talent in order to do so, in order to be put, you know, if you want to, you know, obviously, you know, look at the great coaches of the world. I mean, shoot, they have talent, you know, so you got to have talent in order to be successful. So that's not just a basketball, that's in all sports.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you get the talent, you know, if you can get those talented players to play together and have chemistry, you know, you're going to have a chance to do some things. So that's you know, and obviously, that's why I'm sympathetic to the team that you played on, because you know, when those guys ended up transferring, you know, it put more load on your shoulders, and on your teammates' shoulders. So you know that I understand.
Yeah, and it's what my stepdad told me, and my stepdad was instrumental in my career. He was like, AJ, there's 2 things I want you to do to look at. Are you on the floor? Yeah. 34 minutes a night. And are you producing?
Yeah.
So when you get out there, are you getting things done? All right, cool. He can say whatever he wants to say there. Long as you producing and you out there on the floor with an opportunity to produce, move on, man. He's like, that. And at the end of the day, I think, you know, that's what, you know, eventually became the demise. It was like, I think these kids, that was the era that started to really, really need a little bit of love.
Right. Exactly.
It was just a transition phase. So, but like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Always get supposed to be like almost feeling sorry for you when they first meet you. Like, oh, hey, you played for Coach Knight? Yeah. Oh man. I'm like, damn, man.
Well, you know, people always see the negative side because you know, Coach always wore his heart on his sleeve.
For sure.
And in public. And as a result, you know, people see that, but they don't see what happens behind the scenes and saying that he'll do anything for you, or he'll help you if you need anybody that needs help to graduate. He's going to do everything he can to help you, you know, in whatever you're trying to get into. You can ask Lawrence Frank, who's executive, you know, was a manager for us when we played at Indiana. He's my roommate, and you know, and ask Lawrence Frank, who's executive of the year in the NBA this past year. I mean, you know, Coach helped him. He helped a lot of guys get to where they need to be, and that's what it's all about. You know, what can you do? I'm always been a guy, you know, I want to do things. It's all about doing things behind the scenes. You know, everything doesn't have to be publicly.
Right.
You know, just behind the scenes, can you help? That's what's all about. Can you help that person? And that's what he's always done. That's what he's always been able to do.
You know, and moving forward, man, I think that's a great point. You guys, 1992 Final Four, right? And then your senior year was 93.
93, yes.
And you guys, did you get to the Final Four again? Or
no. Okay. We lost to Kansas. We lost to Kansas in the Elite Eight. You know, that was our kryptonite. Kansas was our kryptonite.
Was it? What they do, zone y'all?
No, they beat us with depth. You know, we were our best team. AJ was my junior season. Because we had such great depth. Yeah. We struggled in the beginning of the season because, you know, we just got Allen Henderson.
Okay.
And so we had some chemistry issues. We were trying to ingratiate Allen into the system because we moved Allen to the center and we moved Eric to the 4 and I stayed at the 3, but we had some chemistry stuff going on. But then by the time we got to the conference season, we were pretty darn good.
Right.
And then but we had some chemistry issues and everything. And what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the 90.
The 92 team. Yeah. But in terms of depth, we were that was our best team. Our senior season, you know, in terms of our first 5. Right. My senior year, we were pretty darn good. But we had Pat got another foot injury again. So in the beginning of the season, so we lost him. But our depth wasn't very good. We had Brian Evans coming off the bench. He was a really, really excellent, another legend.
Right.
We had, Pat Knight, Ty Leary. Our bench wasn't as long
Yeah.
But we had some great players, but our bench wasn't as long, and then that's how Kansas would always beat us, because Roy Williams and you had Rex Walters, Adonis,
Jordan,
Jordan, Greg Ostertag.
Yeah.
They had tremendous depth, and he would run 3-4 guys, at a time sub, and the games would be close, but you get to about the last 5 minutes of the game, then they get that separation on us, and they would always beat us.
I always thought that my biggest and most underrated player to me is Greg Graham, man. I always thought that he never got the due that he really deserves, man. That dude can flat out do it on both ends of the court, athletic. We would be great in today's NBA, I think.
Oh yeah, no doubt. He matter of fact, when Allen went down with the ACL tear our senior season, Greg Graham stepped up his game. Matter of fact, he stepped up his game so much so that he was the best player in the country for the last 7-8 games of the season. He was phenomenal. I mean, he's putting up huge numbers, and I think he won one game in a big. He set a record for free throws going to the free throw line.
I remember that.
26 and 28. He had 32 points. And I'll never forget this. And he was 26 and 28 from the free throw line.
Dang.
Big Ten record.
That's balling.
Yes, he's getting it done.
Balling.
He was getting
being
it done.
aggressive.
Oh yeah, and he was playing so well that he ended up getting drafted in the first round because of it.
Right. I tell people all the time, they had me so locked in to moving without the basketball that I forgot that I need to get to the line.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and your strength to me was, having the ball in your hands and
absolutely
giving catch numbers with that left to right crossover.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I love to do that. This dude used to give me a 2-dribble limit in practice. I used to
forget that. Man. Forget that. How can you produce? If you can produce, get going that left to right crossover, put that thing on the floor and do your thing.
That's the game, man. But yeah, it was phenomenal, man. I learned so much from that, and I'm sure you did too. And we're going to now, before the NBA draft, was the blue chip before the NBA draft?
Yeah, it was right. It was before the NBA draft. It was right after the Final Four, the national championship game. I think that's when they started doing filming it.
Yeah, one of my dreams was being in a motion picture movie, and my favorite, not the greatest, but my favorite player of all time at the NBA level was Penny Hardaway.
Oh, big time!
It was just the game. See, I love guys like you, and I love guys that play with a quiet competitiveness, but they make it look so easy. Like it's just like, I know it ain't easy. I know you worked hard to get to your spot, but then when you raise up, it's like I've been doing this forever, and that's how you play. That's how Penny played. What was that? How did you get that opportunity, man? And what was that like on set? And them pickup. I want to know about them pickup runs, y'all. I know y'all had some.
Yeah, I think the Nick Nolte, was the whole thing's kind of based on Coach Knight a little bit, and the coaching life of Coach Knight, and so actually Nick Nolte came and spent a week or two with us.
Yeah, okay.
So he could kind of get some of Coach's mannerisms down.
Yeah. I know that was great.
And it was great. And at the time, Nick was one of the he was one of the hot guys in Hollywood. Hot actors in Hollywood. So we got a chance to sit and talk with him a little bit, and he sit in on practice, and so it was a joy to kind of hang around him. Big movie star, and but as far as the filming itself, when we played them, it was just two games. We played 2 regular games. There was no like lines or anything of that nature.
Real games.
Yeah, real game. 2 real games, and they just took the footage from those games. The only thing that we had to set up was we had to set up the alley-oop for Shaquille O'Neal to get and put it in and win the game.
Yeah.
But we actually beat them both games. We beat them. We beat them by like double figures in the first game, and then we ended up smoking them in the second game.
Right.
We had a pretty good team ourselves. We had, obviously myself, Bobby Hurley, Eric. We had some, it was kind of funny seeing, we would make fun of kind of Bobby because, it was kind of funny seeing him in
Indiana jersey.
In Creamy Crimson, man.
Right,
and I said, dude, come on, what's am I going to do? He was the same way. We always had fun with that, but yeah, man. But it was fun. I mean, playing against Penny, man. Barring those knees, I mean, he would have been one of the greatest point guards ever. And we were on the same. And I kind of get a kick out of this, and it's a tremendous honor because he said he was such a great player, and he's an unbelievable person, about as humble as,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's all get out. And we were on the Playboy All-American team.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they still do that now, but we all got together in Chicago, and he came up to me and said, "Cal," he said, "I just want to tell you that, I really looked up to you, when you were in college." And I was like, "What, for real?
You're right, for real.
I said, "You're a bad boy. You looking up to me?"
Yeah.
But that's just how the type of person he is, and I've always admired that about him. But his talent and his ability to play the game, man, was like second to none. When that one year when my Shaq might have got hurt there for a little bit, and he just freaking took over the freaking NBA. Putting you in the post, beating you off the dribble, his athleticism flying through the air, man. He was unbelievable.
Man.
He was, and they were one of the few teams to beat the Chicago Bulls.
Absolutely.
With Mike. So that was it was just an honor to be on the same floor with him, Shaq, and those guys, man. Shaq. I'll tell you a quick story about Shaq.
Yeah.
We were playing 19 under AAU, and Shaq. This is when you heard the whispers about, Shaquille got this cat down there in Louisiana, man, this bad boy, Shaquille O'Neal, and you see him in the magazines and all the other stuff, newspaper. And so we had just won the AAU national championship in Florida. So then we were going to play another one in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And so we're coming into the parking lot, and this is, you hear about Shaq. So Shaq is standing in the parking lot, and we're like, dang. So we go on the bus and we pass him, and we say, this dude is huge.
Huge, man. People don't understand, man.
You don't understand how big, but how athletic and how this man can move was like second to none. Yeah, we ended up playing them in the national championship game, and at that time we set a record for attendance for an AAU game. It was like just over 11,000, and they ended up beating us by a couple points. And but the fact that we were able to play against that man, and we were just like, man, we just in awe of his size and what he could do on the floor in terms of athleticism, him running up and down the floor. Man. It was just amazing, man. And obviously, he ended up being a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest centers of all time. But yeah, that was crazy.
I know. You don't understand, man. I spent some time with them in LA. And then, I played against him, obviously, with the Bulls. And you can literally feel this dude running on the floor. Like, the NBA floors are like raised a little bit. And he would run. You like, what the hell is this? And it's him blowing loud. I'm like, that. I don't think people, he doesn't get a lot of big, it's not sexy to be a big guy. You know what I mean? And that's why Russell and Abdul-Jabbar and Chamberlain don't get the love that they probably deserve. But this dude, like, you had to change. I think didn't they change the defensive 3 seconds because of him. I mean, but with the Wilt Chambers in the world and Shaq, they're the two of the most dominant NBA centers in the history of the game, man. Because of their size and ability and to change the complexity of the game with just by sheer intimidation. Right. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So y'all, after that, you get drafted in the NBA, spend 13 years in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I want to get right into. No, let me rewind that real quick. I want to ask one more thing about college basketball. What were those games like against the Fab Five? Was there a lot of shit talking going on? There was some. Yeah, there was some. The Fab Five. They're amazing, and I'll tell you something about the Fab Five. Is that Coach loved them. Coach loved that squad, loved that team. He would talk about how well they played together. Obviously, how competitive they were, but how well they played together. How they play for one another, and they didn't take shiznit from anybody. Right. Yeah. And he really admired how they played the game. Yeah. And but there was some talking going on. Mm-hmm. And I think that was part of their lore. Absolutely. How they try to intimidate you to try to get you off your game. Mm-hmm. So they were able to take advantage, but with our team, they weren't very successful in doing that. Yeah, I know. I said, hey, we just as good as you guys, brother. So right. It's gonna come down to a play here, a play there. And we were able to beat him 3 out of 4 times. Absolutely. And I used to give Chris and Dwight I used to give them some
little bit of hell is when we played at Washington together. I was like, because when we lost the year we lost to them, my junior year at their place was I played with the flu.
Okay.
So I had like, by the time the game was over, I had like 102, 103 degree fever.
Dang.
So I would tell them, I said, the only reason we lost to y'all there that time is because I had the flu. Right. I mean,
hey, I know they hate that.
So and they like me laughing and all that stuff, but man. But it was, we had some battles with those guys, and it was, battles with them, battles with Ohio State. Those two teams, man, were, it was either us, Michigan, or Ohio State going to come away with the Big Ten title, during that time.
And Jalen never could escape it, because when I was with the Bulls, he had got traded to the Bulls, and we used to be on the planes. We used to bring a PlayStation on the plane. And so in fact, I don't know what college basketball game it was, but it had like an all-time Indiana team on it. So I used to give him the business. It had like Steve Alford, and Walt Bellamy and Jay. I'm like, and he get that. He was so mad. I was like, you still can't beat that? He was so mad, but he was one of the best guys, man. Him and Jim Jackson, I absolutely love listening to their commentary in the games, man.
Yeah, I tell you, Jalen was the guy that instigated all that stuff too with the talk.
Oh, for sure, he looked like.
Jalen was the guy, man. Yeah, he was good though. And he would get Chris going, Ray Jackson, and and Juwan and those guys going, man, and Jimmy King. He'd get them all going, man. And
that is amazing.
They start talking that smack, but he was instigator all that stuff.
Get them to take that L. They tried. That's one of the teams we dominated when I was there. I will say that. I was still able to carry that part on. Like,
y'all not there you go. That a baby. There you go.
Y'all look better than us. Y'all ain't we had them little baby shorts on. Y'all ain't finna get this W. But so, man, you had 13-year career, great career. You got drafted number 6 by the Bulls. Great playoff games against Jordan. I'm going to ask you. You got to weigh in on the GOAT debate. I need to know who's your all-time greatest NBA basketball player and why.
Who's my greatest? Oh, it's MJ. I mean,
MJ.
Without question. Yeah, MJ is just unbelievable, man.
Different, man.
Yeah, he's different, and the game is different, and every player's got to adjust to the game now. I mean, it's different eras. Obviously, LeBron James, who I really, really admire, man, is taking advantage of his era.
Absolutely.
He's been the best player of the last 12, 13 years. So, and he still is the best player at his age. And for him to be doing what he's doing now is unbelievable. Obviously, technology and nutrition, all that stuff is coming to play to help you have a longer career. But what LeBron has done is unbelible. But obviously he's going to be top 2, top 3 when it's all said and done. But I don't think But Jordan was like really another animal. You got to look at the era too.
Absolutely.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
It was a more physical era.
Yep.
And Jordan was able to, and he's a little bit smaller than LeBron.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, he got beat up left and right, and he still averaged 32.
Right. Yeah.
30, 31, 32, and obviously not only was he a great player on the offensive side of the ball, but he was, I think 10, 11, 12 time defensive player, defensive, all defense.
Absolutely.
But I think what separated him from everybody else is just his competitive drive.
Yeah, sure.
If he's one of those guys that, if you you beat him with the fist, you're gonna bring a knife next time. Yeah. You beat him with a knife, you're gonna bring a gun next time.
Right. I'm winning this game.
That's just, So that's how he became the best. And he didn't care. He was willing to do whatever it took to win. And
absolutely.
And that's what made him the best. And obviously, from skill standpoint, the dude is ridiculous. He gets to that right hand and he gets to that fadeaway. I mean, there's nothing you can really do. It's over. It's nothing you can really do. Especially when he came back and they went for that the second three-peat. He didn't have the bounce, the bounce like he did when he was younger, but he was able to adjust. And it's like, look, okay, I'm just gonna kill you from mid-range. When I'll go right, bam. Absolutely. And you force him left, and he's smart enough to okay, I'm gonna go left a couple times. Mm-hmm. Keep you honest, and so I get back to my right hand. But he was just so good, and all you could try to do was just try to get him off the spot that he wanted to go. But then once you got him off the spot, he take you off the dribble.
Yeah, for sure.
Or because he liked to work that mid post area.
One thing I noticed about watching Mike is like, and then I didn't notice as a kid, and I got the amount of opportunities he got to score based off his energy. Like the dude energy is through the roof, and he would get offensive rebounds. How many points he would get off offensive rebounds and just running the floor, steals, get 2-3 steals, just the impact, man.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when somebody interviewed him, and he's like, he said, well, how do you get to 32 points a game? He said, Doug, it's just 8 points a quarter.
Right.
And to him, if you think about it, you get to make a couple buckets, get the free throw line 4 times, get your 8 points. That's the attitude that he had, man. And like I said, but he's without a doubt the best player I've ever seen. And,
Absolutely. You talked about any memorable stories? Did he talk crap to you at all?
No. We kind of had the same. Kind of said that we're same agency, so he was cool. But we played him in the playoffs in that game too when he had 55. He hits. We're in the fourth quarter. We're like we matched up pretty well with him. That was the year they went 72-10, I think.
Right.
And I think we had beat him that year once or twice that year in the regular season. So we felt like we matched up pretty well against him.
Yeah.
And then, but I think it's in the fourth quarter. They make a run. He might have had 20 in the quarter, and he makes this crazy fadeaway going to the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear when he shot it, it was like he was like parallel to the ground on the fadeaway. and he makes it. Crowd goes wild. We call timeout. And he's sprinting back. Like I said, it's a mental thing with him too. Yeah. So he gets up. They scored. He gets up. We call a timeout. He sprints to the sideline. He sprints to his bench.
Yeah.
To the timeout, let him know, hey, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game.
Absolutely.
And then we come out of the timeout, and I'm standing behind the free throw line or whatever. We're just getting ready to inbound the ball. And he just says, Calvert. He said, he just comes in next to me, bends over with me. He's like, Cal, you tired yet? I said, am I tired yet? I said, are you tired yet? We just start laughing, but like I said, he's just everything with him is, like I said, it's a mental game.
Yeah,
mental game, and he's going to beat you mentally too. If he, whatever he has to do, he's going to try and get that advantage mentally because, when you get to the NBA level, professional level, everybody's good.
Right, yeah, for sure.
But how are you going to separate yourself? Obviously, you're going to try to separate yourself with your work ethic, but it's also a mental game too.
Yeah.
And you want to try and win that mental game because if you win that mental game, you got a chance of winning.
Absolutely. And did you have a chance to guard Kobe as well?
Yeah, Kobe the same way. Kobe's another guy. Kobe patterned his game after
absolutely.
Mike. So he was tough as nails too. Everything he did, man, was I'm going to do everything I can to beat you. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but if I do know how, I'm going to try to step on your neck doing it. So, yeah, Kobe is definitely my top 10 of all time NBA players.
That's awesome, man! And rest in peace, Kobe, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, in peace. Yes,
sir. Devastating start to 2020, but better days ahead, man. What was the last thing about the NBA? What was your most memorable NBA moment?
The fact that we were able to make the playoffs at Washington at the time hadn't been in the playoffs like 16, 17 years, and we were able to make it. And we had to win. We got off to a rough start our season, and then after All-Star break, we had the best record after All-Star break. We were playing phenomenally, and we had to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in the last game of the season in order to get in, and we had to go to Cleveland to do it.
Okay.
And at the time, they had, remember Terrell Brandon?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Baz a bad boy right there now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we had to beat them, and they had Gauskas, Zdrunas.
Healthy one.
So yeah, healthy one. And we went in and we beat them toward the end. I think I made a bucket to get and one, and that ended up sealing the game.
Right.
And that was probably the greatest moment for us to get a chance to get into the playoffs because Washington hadn't been in the playoffs in so long, and it was a great feeling.
And they rewarded y'all by breaking up the team, right?
Well, yeah, we it was some crazy, a lot of crazy, different circumstances. Something
For
we got to
sure.
get into. Something we talk about off camera,
Absolutely.
but that's just it happens. That's the nature of the business, and
Yeah.
but at that time, it was wonderful, and we were able to to break the streak, so to
Oh,
speak.
and now you're in the coaching, right? So you're coaching.
Yes.
You're back in the game. You was at St. Louis for a couple of years. Did some director of operations at Indiana for a year, and then now you're doing some G League stuff.
Yeah, I work for the an Atlanta Hawks organization. I work for the College Park Skyhawks. I'm assistant coach with the College Park Skyhawks, and so it's been enjoyable. And this be my third year coming up, and I like the G League because you're able to help develop these kids. These kids have a dream of playing in the NBA, but they also got to be. I try to be honest with them and let them know that, hey, look, not everybody gonna make it to the NBA. Less than 1% make it to the NBA of all basketball players. So what you want to try and do is how you're going to take advantage of your abilities now, whether it be going overseas. Hey, you can go overseas and play in China for $750,000, or go over in Europe, make a lot of money. Australia, different places, and then maybe down the line, all your road might take you back to the NBA.
Yeah.
So go out there, take advantage of your abilities now, take advantage of what you can do now, and make as much money as you can while you're in there. Have a nice career, and that's all I try to do. I like the G League because it's all about development and trying to help these guys achieve whatever dream they're looking for.
Yeah. And do you have any aspirations of being a head coach? At what level?
Oh yeah, at some point, yeah. I don't care. I mean, I love the game. I just love, I try to help in any way I can, because there were people that helped me get to where I need to be. So I just try to pay it forward in any way I can. And at some point, if I'm able to become a head coach, that'd be great.
Right. When you coached in college, man, what was the first major difference that you noticed when you coached in college, and from what it was and where it is today?
Obviously, like I said, the relationship part is more prevalent, which is great. I mean, I would, shoot, any more time you have Will Sheehy come in, you have, Victor Oladipo come in, say what's up, Christian Watford, all these guys. I mean, open door policy, which is great. And I think it's wonderful to have open door policy, because you obviously want to have a good relationship with the coach that you're playing for.
Absolutely.
So that's the one thing I really enjoy. And obviously, and it was a joy working for Tom Crean. Tom did, at the time, let's just say, the program was scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Absolutely.
At the time when he came in, and he was able to turn things around.
Yep.
And I really do appreciate him for that. And so, but from a standpoint of the relationship aspect, it's really, really, I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's great, man. And you got any? Are there any Chaney phenoms coming along from the Chaney family?
No. My son played high school ball, but he's in college now. He goes to DePaul in Chicago. Yeah, so he's enjoying it. But no, he had actually a really solid high school career, but he chose not to get into basketball. And he's a great student. He's a junior now, and he's looking at graphic and game design and film and all that other stuff. So he's doing a wonderful job. DePaul's all virtual this year. This year, so he decided to stay home. So my daughter's down. My daughter Sydney, she's down to University of Miami. Her sophomore year. So they're both doing well, and as long as I said, as long as y'all keep getting those good grades, you're good.
Right.
keep performing well in the classroom, you're good.
Hey.
You ain't gonna get no complaints out of me.
No, nothing. Hey, and the last thing I ask you, man, I know with the a lot of social injustices going on, we're living in some turbulent times right now. With two children that age, how do you, as a father, sleep at night and be comfortable and help them understand these injustices and how to deal with those things? Have you had
we just try to let them. Me and my wife, we just try to get them to understand. I said, you just make the right choices. Just understand the world around you, understand what's going on out there. And when you get out into the world, know that there could be some issue. If an issue does arise, make sure you keep a cool head and just make the right choices. That's all you can do. We as parents, we just have to go out there. We have to teach our kids the best way we know how, and at the same time, then when we let them go and let them fly away, we just got to hope that they do make those right choices. And I think our kids have done a wonderful job of that.
Absolutely. Do you and your wife, you guys think about that, or just something that you just?
Oh yeah, we think about it all the time. Matter of fact, we were in the car yesterday. My son was driving my wife's car, and he tends to have a lead foot, so we were like, I'm in the passenger side and my wife was in the back seat. We were going to go grab something to eat, and so he floors it, and I was like, dude, I said, he's like, every now and then you got to feed some speed to your ride, Mom. And I was like, well, I said, what happens if you get pulled over? Yeah. I said, you got to be smart. You can't be thinking, you can't be thinking you're a black man, so you can't be thinking that it's okay to speed and thinking I'm not going to get caught when you could get caught and it could be some consequences to that. For me, matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I got pulled over because somebody thought I was trafficking humans.
Oh, really?
Yes. And that's another story. So I kept a cool head, did my thing. They made me get out of the car. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, I got two more police cars pull up. Now I got like 5-6 people around me. But here's the deal. And they were the circumstance on how they put me over, I didn't agree with. So They were like, okay, you can go. Do you have any questions? I said, yeah, I got a couple of questions. So we discussed the situation on how you pulled me over. I said, if you would have just told me the truth in the beginning, if you would have told me the truth in the beginning, I might have let you maybe search my car. I might have let you done this or done that. But we had a conversation. We were able to hash it out.
Absolutely.
And then I got my car and I moved on. But I did it with a cool head. And I explained that situation to my kids. Was I pissed? Yes. But at the same time, you got to try to keep a cool head the best way you possibly can. And, so you won't end up in a bad situation. So, that's all we try to teach our kids, try to raise your kids the best way you know how and hope that they make the right decisions. And, and obviously learn from what they see out there on social media, or what they see on the TV, or what they experience personally.
That's awesome, and that's advice that everybody, all children need to hear, all adults need to hear. Man, it's rough out here. It's getting, we got election coming up. We need to make some choices and move our country forward. And I'm a father as well, 14-year-old, always concerned about her. She's obviously, a good thing and a bad thing for us is for me is kids don't go out and hang out like they used to, because it's more on the phone and it's more online and all that.
Exactly right.
Socially, but because you kind of get stagnated socially if you're not able to have these
and they don't understand that, and it's hard for them to understand how to maybe deal with that.
Absolutely.
With the situation out there, if they say that they do get pulled over or if something does happen. So that's where we as parents, it's more important for us to really help them understand that.
Oh, absolutely. And finally, man, that picture behind me, man, is one of my coolest moments with Coach Knight. And he said you was gonna get back to wondering about your coolest moments with Coach Knight, and feel free to let us know.
My coolest moment was when I ended up getting the Big Ten all-time leading the scoring record.
That's big time.
And and then after the game was over with, Coach came over and gave me a big hug. He just gave me a big hug and just said, "Congratulations, this is something that you deserve." And I really got choked up because obviously you going through wars and stuff, and Coach is on you all the time, and he's pushing you, and he's on you, and he's pushing you. And sometimes you tend to get a little bit negative, but at the same time, he does embrace and he understands, the situation. And for him to come over and give me a huge, huge hug, and to thank me for all, for what I did, was able to do in the 4 years that I was there was a tremendous. I really hold that in high regard.
Absolutely. And people don't understand that that's the way that, Coach Knight showed compassion. It wasn't, I wasn't going to big you up in the media. I wasn't going to take 1,000 pictures with you. Or maybe just a quick slap on the back. It may just be a quick headlock. It may be
that's his way of saying, hey, you're doing a good job. Just keep doing it. So, but it's not going to be like, too much lovey-dovey, but like I said, hit you with that ring, hit you in the head, hit you in the head with that championship ring.
Yep.
That means you're doing something right. It
might be kicked out of practice a couple of times.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, and my final question is, and I know what the answer is going to be, would you do it all over again?
I would. I would. You know, I really enjoyed my time there. Not obviously from a basketball perspective, but also from a college student perspective too. I really loved it. I made a lot of friends there. The campus is wonderful. It's a great atmosphere, college atmosphere. So yeah, if I had a chance to do it again, I definitely would.
Absolutely. And we kind of, I don't know, I think you had a game. We missed you at the reunion. I know you would have been there. I think you guys
definitely
had a that night. And
we had a G League game down in Lakeland, Florida. Lakeland, Florida. Played Lakeland, and it was my scout. So so it was. Unfortunately, I wish I could have been there, but I got a chance to see it on Twitter and all social media accounts. And actually, Ryan Carr, who is the director of scouting, I think with the Pacers, he sent me a nice little video of it as well. So I got a chance to see it, and it was wonderful. And happy birthday to Coach. You know, October 25th was Coach's 80th birthday. So happy birthday, Coach.
Yep. And it wasn't in vain because you was down there beating on that old Michigan State former coach. So, hey, I hope y'all got that dub.
We actually did. We actually did get the dub.
That's what I'm talking about. So always a silver lining in there somewhere.
No doubt.
Hey, you got a Twitter?
I have a Twitter. That's at Calbert Chaney, all smalls.
At
Calbert Chaney. All small letters.
All small letters. Follow Calbert. Keep in touch with him as he progresses in his coaching career. Hey, man, it didn't feel like an hour, but it was excellent information, man. It's an honor for me to be having this conversation with you and to get that in-depth insight about your upbringing, because people need to hear that, and they need to understand what it takes to be an Indiana basketball player, and not only an Indiana basketball player, shape you into the adult and the father that you are today. So you are to be commended for that, my brother, man. And as always, I'm gonna stay in touch with you. Give me golden nuggets, man. Stuff as my process, I was progressing up into the coaching ranks. I would reach out a lot and just get those nuggets, man, and keep people on course. And they got Chris Reynolds here in the city as well, man. He's
sir.
Athletic director here, so I'm excited about him. And
stay in his ear.
Absolutely, man.
Make sure you get on his nerves too.
Keep wearing him out. Because I called him at the probably the wrong time. Board meeting. And
keep wearing him out though.
So thank you, Calvin, man. Anything I can do for you, please reach back out and I'll get you all the information for this.
You the same, my man. You the same. Appreciate it. Enjoyed it.
Have a good day, brother.
Bye-bye.